So you're master chef also, as well as a glass. Okay, what is it? Is it a glass blower, glass artist, glass artisan? What do you call yourself?
Technical terminology is lamp worker.
Lamp worker?
Lamp worker, yeah.
But that's just, I hate to say it this way, but it sounds so not what you do. It sounds so boring, actually.
Right, that's why none of the new glass blowers you ever hear themselves refer to themselves as a lamp worker. Usually they say, I'm a glass blower, a torcher, they say all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Most commonly nowadays is glass blower. That's what you usually hear. And the fine arts characters in the game, they like to be called lamp workers, I think. Still, a lot of them go by glass blower also. But
yeah, I started to say it gives you a different idea of what you are if you say lamp worker.
Right.
Because I remember Millie had said something before that you were a lamp worker in Virginia Beach, and I thought you made those things.
Like lamps.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I heard that term too. You know, I go by what people say, and a lot of people say you're an artist, so that's what I say. I'm an artist.
I say you're an artist too.
So I appreciate it. Thank you.
When did you start glass work? Or lamp work, however you want to.
It was in October, around right at Halloween, 2000.
Yeah. Wow.
And like kids were knocking at the door, trick or treating, and I was making my first things. In 2000 in my garage.
Just getting sound right now with sound bites and everything. So. Okay. But you said you started out with a video, and then have you taken classes from anybody?
I haven't taken any classes. What do you call it? Like formally any classes.
Mm-hmm.
No, never went to. Only thing the closest thing I could say I've been to a class was this thing that I go to sometimes that they have annually. It's called AGI, Art Glass Invitational.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, what that is Tom and Elaine Donner have a glass. Well, it started off with a lamp working board, I believe, before when it all started. The board that Christian Turley started is basically a forum for lamp workers to get together and discuss techniques. You know, like somebody wants to learn how to do a honeycomb technique, say, and I do honeycomb, so somebody says, this is how I do a honeycomb, and then I read it, and then, I say, well, this is how I do a honeycomb, and then, all the different lamp workers will read, and they'll throw their 2 cents in, and by the end of the post, all these lamp workers know how to really make a cool honeycomb because they're all telling each other, their little tips and tricks. Well, it kind of goes like that all over. I mean, there's all kinds of information on that board. It's just amazing the amount of information you can get there and what you can learn from it. But, it's also a forum, and, it's full of people and people's quirks, and you know how that gets on the forums where you have a bunch of artists together, So, it's fun, but, to make it a more personal level, Tommy and Elaine Donner have this thing, Art Glass Invitational, where they actually go on that board, and I don't know if they go to other places to invite the people, but I know they get most of the people that come from the board, I believe. And they invite, they send out invitations, and it's really cool the way they do it because it's, he has like kind of what Chihuly did, like a style of Pilchuck where it's a bunch of buildings, and each building you're able to blow glass, and each building that he has out there, each building is designed as a lamp working shop with several stations. So he can invite a bunch of people there and then have each, building just full of, people that he invited sharing their techniques and styles, and it's like over 100 and something people go there, and when you show up, it's just glass blowing everywhere. You walk in a room and there's 10 people in this room, blowing glass, going crazy. Over in this other building, there's 6 people blowing glass. In this other building, there's 4 people blowing glass, and everybody's just doing their own thing, And that would be the closest that I've come to actually going to a school, because you go there, man, if you're a glass blower and you know a little bit about glass, you're going to come back from that learning a whole ton of stuff, because for a glass blower to stand next to another glass blower and just look at him work is that's, I mean, that really, if you have any amount of love for the art and you know what you're doing, you'll pick up something from that, So, and I did. I would say that'd be the closest thing that I came to going to a school would be AGI.
And who's this lovely lady to your side over here? Go on, get in there, show.
Oh, okay.
And have you been teaching her how to do some glass work also?
Oh, yeah.
I've a little bit. I've dabbled a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I show anybody that wants to learn how to blow glass, I don't, I love to show people how to do it. They want to learn. And hopefully eventually one day I'll get to teach, and that'll be what I do more than work and make stuff, is just to show people how to, make stuff. Probably just create something here or there while I'm in there showing them, that kind of thing.
That would be really cool because all day long you're just making people happy, like you're showing them this new thing and it's really cool. And
People love to watch you blow glass.
it's fascinating.
Like, that's one thing that I've learned, is that they really like people's reactions when they see you blow glass. It's a very magical, mystical thing to them when they see you do it. It's like, it's fire and you're melting, glass and glass and.
Well, that's one reason I've been wanting to do this is also I've been wanting to watch you, and I thought, I didn't want to bother you while you were doing it, so I didn't know if you like having people watch or something, because this I'm trying not to. Once I get out there, I'm just going to be trying not to be intrusive or anything, but I want to be able
Here's how it is when I'm working. It's like, okay, if I'm working and I'm into a piece, and I'm in a crucial point of the piece, and then somebody pops in the shop on me, it doesn't ever go good.
No good.
Okay.
Almost never. But, however, if somebody's like, I'm going to hang out in the shop with you and watch you blow glass, I'm the biggest show-off there is. I love to blow glass and show off when I know somebody's watching me. If I know you're watching me, it's all good. I'll show off for you. I'll make glass, and I know you're there, and it's all good. But if I'm working and I'm in it and I'm concentrating, and then somebody comes in the room and they're like, hey, can you, this and that? It's like,
go away!
It's different. I don't know what it is, but it's just I'm in a different zone there. It's a different.
It's a progression, almost. Yeah.
Sometimes if you think you're going to get burnt, the best thing to do is just let it go.
That I can understand.
Yeah. It's not worth it. I mean, if you're not like an hour into something and you feel like you might get a burn, it's better to just drop it.
So you really don't need a big flaming kiln to be able to do it.
No, people do it all sorts of ways. Like, matter of fact, one of my Facebook friends was just talking about how they were on vacation and brought their torch and wanted to do some work, and they were bringing. They said they forgot their vermiculite and their little blanket, their bead blanket, and I think the bead blankets are made out of like a porcelain type fiber. And it's some of this stuff that I got in my kiln. It's little fibrous blanket stuff. Basically keeps you from scratching up your glass when you put it in the kiln, and it can withstand the heat of the kiln itself and not catch on fire. And what they do is like if you have a little container of some vermiculite, you can take your finished piece and just flame anneal it, which is you just put it in a kind of a floofy flame like this here, and get it all nice and dark. And some people even coat it with like the carbon, that comes off of the torch and stuff and gets all over it, and coat it with that. Then they just stick it in their vermiculite and let it cool off, and then they'll put it in a kiln later somewhere, if they want to go further with the annealing. Some people actually trust flame annealing as the permanent annealing, They're good with that.
And that's where you said that you had to heat it all up to a certain temperature and then let it cool down 5 degrees.
Yeah, you just want to cool it down slowly, and basically what they do is, you know, you work on a piece and then you bring your flame out to just a softer flame, and then you heat up the whole piece till it's an even heat. You'll see your piece start to glow a little bit like that there. And then once it's all evenly glowing, then you can just, you know, slowly like take the glow out and keep it warm, and then when it's a bit cooler you can stick it down in that vermiculite. Some people even put the vermiculite on a little burner in a container so the vermiculite's actually a little warm. Because if you're in a cold studio in the winter and then you did like that and some cold vermiculite, it might crack your piece. So some people keep it warm. Or the bead blankets, like some of the beads, depending on the detail of the bead, if it's real simple bead and not a lot of detail, just a few dots or whatever, or real simple, they just put it in the bead blanket and cover it, and you know, after they flame anneal it, and those are good, you know. It really depends on the amount of detail in the work and like how the attachments were done. If your stuff's all melted together, perfectly melted, then you probably won't have too many problems with it, you know, cracking if you're trying to just flame anneal it and stuff. But like if you have a lot of acute angles where you touch something and you can see the glass kind of goes like that, you know, where you tagged it, then the chances of that breaking are a little bit higher, because it's just the acute angles are almost have to be annealed, you know, like if they're weird. So all I'm doing is just I'm just heating up a piece of orange, and I'm gonna coat it in some of this. This stuff's called Elvis. These are the colors I'm using. This is crayon orange because it looks like crayon color, and this is called Elvis red. No idea why they came up with Elvis. I mean, Elvis and red. I don't really know what it has to do with each other, but. Basically, I'm gonna even pull this out and do it because making one of my sons basically I'm just like coating over the orange with the red so I can get like a fire, you know, the whole red orange combo.
Is that going to be a marble, or like a sun inside a marble? Or what?
Yeah, sun inside a marble. There's a couple ways I put the red on. This is just the easy way I do it. The other ways takes forever. It's good for demoing. Like you'd be if I did it the other way, you'd be filming for a while and not really seeing much anything happen.
Well, I'm just curious on how you get the stuff inside it, and then you build the glass around it with the marble. And then you have that little, those are molds, like you would roll it in.
Yeah, that's how I shape the marble and get it nice and round, is I use those molds. Might see lamp workers use their mouth for all sorts of stuff with glass because we're used to blowing, putting, you know, pipes up to the mouth and blowing through them and stuff. So if I need a free hand, I'll stick, you know, something in my mouth, whatever. I don't like to drink out of a glass anymore since I've been a lamp worker or a glass blower. I think it's some kind of paranoia I have about ingesting glass now. You know, since I'm real careful with the glass when it's around my mouth, that I don't ingest it. Because this isn't like the kind of glass like the circus guys be eating and stuff where they can eat it and poop it out later and it's no big deal. You eat this stuff and it's bad news. So I'm real careful about, like, you know, not ingesting it. And so, like, now when I touch a glass to my lips to drink, I don't want to drink. Because it's psychological, you know. I don't want to ingest the drink out of the glass because I'm so careful not to ingest anything while I have glass to my mouth. So I just drink out of a plastic cup. That's just easier. Every once in a while you see me with a glass cup, but I don't like it. I like plastic now.
So is that what you put everything in?
Oh, this right here?
Yeah.
No, this is just a technique that I use to make my sun. I have a little trick that I do to get the effect, and this is pretty much the trick. It's super top secret, but it's cool. Like, no, I don't care.
Very small.
Like, nobody's seen me do this yet. Nobody's witnessed this. They just see the final product. They don't ever see this part.